we find it really hard to not find a touch point that we can't inject brand into when we're dealing with our customers, right? So there's all these different layers to it.
Well, yeah, and to follow on that, so you have what you call the layer cake approach to branding. Cake, cookies, I'm getting hungry already, but can you talk a little bit about, what does that mean, and what does that consist of?
That's just something I came up with because I'm trying to explain to people that a cake, you know, a cake can be sponge and frosting, and then you cover it and it looks like a cake. But then another cake could be sponge and like a crunchy layer, a jam, a frosting, a different layer of a different flavor of sponge, a different frosting, decorations. And from the outside, they look like two similar cakes. But when you cut into them, there are so many layers. And I think that a lot of people get stuck with branding just being very one note and thinking that you have a fun logo. You say a quirky thing instead of sincerely. You might say something like, have the best day. Like, and branding stops at this very vanilla and chocolate cake. I love baking shows. They relax me. So that's why I think about it that way. But when you cut open an equally beautiful looking cake, it's so much better when it's layered with all these different touch points, which is cookies is like one of the layers, right? So it's just talking about that just to me explains the difference between kind of one note brand marketing and then a really like more holistic approach to marketing.
Yeah, yeah. And can you maybe give an example of how have you applied that in some of the brands that you've worked?
Well, the layer that I think many people don't think about might be we tend to do hidden movie quotes. We tend to do hidden trivia. And then if you get it, we might send you an invisible medallion, just as an example, which is very expensive for us to send. We send these invisible medallions via email all the time.